Hello and welcome back everyone. In this session, we will talk about the cantilever beam with the transverse loading. So let us say here we have the cantilever beam where the one end of the beam has been fixed. The length of the beam is 100 mm and the cross section is a circular with the diameter of 10 mm. At the free end, a force of 10,000 Newton has been applied in the transverse, or we can say in the vertical direction. And in this problem, we are interested in finding out the bending stress as well as the displacement at the free end. So from the engineering, we know the formula to calculate the bending stress, which stands for sigma is equal to m upon I into y, where m stands for the bending moment, y is nothing but the distance of the top layer from the neutral axis, and I is nothing but the moment of inertia. So from this problem I can see the bending moment is nothing but force into perpendicular distance, y is nothing but half of the diameter, but the moment of inertia I have to calculate for the circular cross section. We know the formula to calculate the moment of inertia for the circular section, which is nothing but pi by 64 d raised to 4. After putting the value of diameter, we will get the moment of inertia as equal to 490.625 mm raised to 4. So again we will put all this value in the bending stress equation. So after putting the bending moment as an 10,000 into 100 multiply by 5 as a y divided by the moment of inertia, we will get bending stress is equal to 1019.08 Newton per mm square. And similarly, in order to calculate the displacement at free end, we have the formula which is nothing but PL cube divided by 3EI. As you can see over here, while calculating the displacement, we require the Young's modulus, and Young's modulus is a material property. So material we are going to assume as steel. Then Young's modulus for the steel is 2.1 e raised to 5 megapascal. Density is nothing but 7800 kg per meter cube, and the Poisson's ratio is 0.3. So after putting all this value, we will get the displacement as 32.35 mm. So far we have calculated the bending stress and the displacement by using the analytical method. Now let's see how to simulate the same thing in the software. So let me open the Hypermesh. We will start with the creating new file. So I will go for file, let's say new. Then we will set our user profile to the OptiStruct and let me set it to OK. Here we are going to simulate the cantilever beam using the 1D problem. So let me first create the node. So let me go for F8. Let me go to the XYZ coordinate. Put the node at the starting point of the cantilever beam and set it to create. Now as the length of the beam is 100 mm, I will put the node at the end of the beam and here I will go for create. Let me go to the isometric view and then let me go to the XY plane. As you can see over here, I have the two nodes which are representing the starting point and the ending point of the cantilever beam. But in order to make the solution more accurate and to capture the stress contour properly, I am going to put 3 more nodes in between these two nodes. So again, let me go for node only. Here I have the interpolate node option. Click on it and then select the two nodes. So I will select this one and this one, and in between these two nodes I want to put 3 nodes. So here I will go for create. Now let me go for return. Now using these nodes I am going to create the bar element. So again let me go for 1D, let me go for bar, or first you can create the component also. So right click, go for create and then go for component. Here I will go for cantilever underscore, let's say with transverse loading. Okay, press enter once you are done with the name and then go for bar. Before creating the bar element, let me rotate my model little bit. Now as you can see here, the currently orientation has been set it to y-axis. For time being, let me make a mistake and here I am going to select orientation as a z-axis. Keep in mind, previously we have discussed the orientation should not be same as that of the axis. So here I have the two options, either I can go for y-axis or I can go for z-axis. So let me go for the z-axis. So let me select the z-axis, then go for node A, select this node, then this node, this node, this node, this node, this node, and finally node A and the node B. And let me go for return now. Again let us come to the XY plane, and these nodes we don't require now. So again I can go for geometry, then go for temp node and then say clear all, and let me go for return. Here we have created the bar element. But for this bar element, we require the cross section property as a user input. So here we have to create the circle having the diameter of 10 mm. So basically to create the cross section, we have to go to the 1D, then I will go to the hyperbeam. Inside the hyperbeam, come to the standard section. From the standard section library, select the hyperbeam, and for the standard section type, instead of the solid rectangle, let us select the solid circle and then go for create. Now here, instead of radius to be 10 mm, here I have to set it to 5 mm because the diameter of our circle is a 10 mm. Press enter once you are done. Again let me come to the model view. Wait for few seconds. Now as you can see, under the beam section collector, under the auto, I have the circle section. Let me rename this section. So I will go for right click. Here I will go for rename, and here I will go for M10 circle and press enter. Here we have created the cross section that needed to be assigned to this beam. So again let me go for right click. Then I am going to create the material. Let's create the material as a steel. Press enter. But you can see under the details I am not getting the property as a visible one. So let me go return. Once you say return, automatically property will be visible. Let me expand it little bit. Then card image, yes, I require matte one only. Let me set Young's modulus to the 2.1 e raised to 5, same as that of this one. Then I will set Poisson's ratio to be 0.3 only. And for the density, he has given the value of 7800 kg per meter cube. Let me set it 7.8 e raised to minus 9 and press enter. Once the material has been created, now let us go to create the property. So either you can go for right click, create, and then go for property, or to create the property you can also come to this and go for property. Here I will go for cantilever, and here I will say M10, that means cantilever beam with the major diameter of 10 mm. Then type I will set it to exclusively to 1D. For the card image I can either set it to P bar or the P beam. As in the previous session we have discussed, basically P bar and P beam are one and the same as far as the loading is concerned. That means they are both able to sustain the transverse as well as axial loading. But the advantage of P beam card image is that it will be able to support the non-symmetric cross section also. But the P bar are only supported symmetric cross section. So in the companies 99% of the time we will select only P beam. So let me select the P beam. Material we have already created. Let me select the steel. Let me go for beam section, and here I will go for M10 and then say create. Let me go for return. Now you can see the property has been created. But since we have applied the transverse loading condition, I have to update or modify my property little bit. Now let me show what are the things that needed to be changed over here. So again right click on the cantilever beam and I will go for card edit. Once I am in the card edit, here I will switch on this continuous line to option. This is very important. Let me switch it on. Once I switch it on the continuous line to option, here a extra line has been created. Now let me show you what is the importance of this extra line. So as previously discussed, this is our cross section basically. So when the transverse loading is going to applied, a top layer is going to be subjected to the tension and the bottom layer is going to be subjected to the compression. So here we have to specifically mention those points. So as per as software is concerned, we have to mention those points. So here I am going to mention these 4 points. But the naming of this 4 point is very important. So the first point is going to be the C point. Then in the clockwise manner I will go for point D. Then again I will go for point E. And then again I will go for point F. If you look in the center, I have the y-axis in the vertically upward direction and the z-axis in the horizontal direction. So next thing that we are going to do is to define the coordinate of the point C. So as you can see, for the C point, the y-axis is going to be at the distance of radius value, which is equal to 5, and the z coordinate will be equal to 0. So for the point C, I can say the coordinates are 5, 0. Then if I move on to the point D, then the y coordinate is 0 and the z coordinate is a 5 mm. Same if I move on to the coordinate E, then the y coordinate would be the negative minus 5 and the z coordinate would be equal to 0. And again if you go for point F, then the y coordinate is 0 and the z coordinate is -5. So basically we have to mention this coordinate into our continuous line 2 option. So once you mention this option, then and then only the bending stress will get calculated. If you forgot to mention this continuous line 2 option, then bending stress will not get calculated. So to speak in precise manner, this is going to be our C1A, this is going to be our C2A, then this is D1A, D2A, E1A, E2A, F1A and F2A. So again let us go to the hypermesh to put the same coordinates. So here I will go for C1A as a 5, C2A as a 0, then D1A as a 0, D2A as a -5, E1A as a -5, E2A as a 0. Oh sorry, D2A is 5 only. Then F1A is 0 and F2A is -5. Press enter and then go for return. So this card image was very important to calculate the bending stress. Now it's time to assign the property to the cantilever beam. So right click on the cantilever, go for assign, and under the property here I will switch it to the cantilever M10. Here I will click on apply and then go for OK. Now to check whether the property has been applied or not, I can go for 1D element and then here I will switch on the 1D element with the traditional representation. But suppose you want to select the solid only, then I can go for shaded element. So you will be able to select the entire solid. But since it is visible that the property has been applied, again I will go to the traditional representation. Then let me create the load collector. Here I will set the fix only, or here you can say fix underscore 1 2 3 4 5 6. That means one end has been completely fixed. Let me go for create. Here I will create the force value. Let's say force in the negative y direction having the magnitude of 10,000 Newton. Once you are done with this, let me go for create and edit. Let me say return. Again you can come to the analysis. Let's go for force. Then select the node to which you want to apply the force. Select the direction along which you want to apply the force and select the magnitude of the force. So here I want to apply the 10,000 Newton force. For the size I will set it to 60 and then say create. Let me go for return. Now the load collector I will switch it to the fix only. Then again I will go for analysis. I will go for constraint. Since we want to simulate the cantilever beam, that means one end is going to be completely fixed. So let me select this node and I will fix all the degrees of freedom so that it will simulate the cantilever beam. Let me go for create and let me go for return. Now the only thing that has remained is to tell the OptiStruct that we are interested in the static analysis. Now to tell that, I can go for load step. Here I will put the static analysis, or you can change the name as a cantilever with transverse. Then for the SPC, let me click over here and let me set fix 1 2 3 4 5 6, and for the load let me select the force -y. Mention which type of analysis we are going to perform and let's say create. Let me go for return. Before going for solution, let me save my file. So let us go to the file. Let us go for save as. At your work location you can save the file and let's say save. Once every single thing has been done, let us go to the OptiStruct and let's say OptiStruct. Once the solution has been completed, let us go for post processing of the results. So let me click on the results. Then let me go for contour. Let me click on displacement, say all the components and let's go for apply. Then let me click on the legends, go for edit legends. Instead of scientific, let me set it to fix. Precision, set it to 2. Then minimum quantity I don't want, I can go for apply and then say OK. And as you can see, the displacement value is coming out to be 32.49, which is the same as that of the analytical results. Now let us go for the stress results. So let me click on the displacement, let me click on element stress, let me go for displayed component and let me set it to simple. Now let's say apply. So the stress value is showing the 0 value. Now this is because we are currently showing the axial stress value. We don't want the axial stress. So if you remember our cross section point, then C was our top point and E was our bottom point. So on the C there is supposed to be the value of tension, and at the point E there has to be the value of compression. And since point F and D were on the neutral axis, there is not going to be any stress. So let me go for contour again. Here I will go for stress SAC, that means I want to show the stress at point C. Select it, go for component, go for displayed, and then go for apply. But as you can see, my dear friends, still the value of stress is coming out to be 0. Now let me show the stress at point D. So let me click on the SAD, go for component, go for displayed, and go for apply. As you can see, the stress value is showing the negative. That means the point D is under the compression. So here I have to show the minimum value also, so that I will be able to correlate with my analytical values. So again I can go for edit legend, then either you can switch on the minimum or you can say the reverse also. So let me first show you with the minimum value. Let me say apply and then go for OK. And as you can see, the minimum stress value is coming out to be 10185.92, which is very close to the analytical results. Again let me go for point E. So here I will go for displayed and then go for apply. Again the stress value is coming out to be 0, and then if I go for point F, here I will go for apply, then the stress value is coming out to be 10185.92, which is again closer to the analytical results. But as you can see, we have made some mistake. At point C there is supposed to be the tension, and at point E there is supposed to be the compression. But in our FEA solution, point C and E are representing the neutral axis. This is again a very serious mistake that even experienced people do it. So again let me go to the hypermesh to rectify my mistake. Let me go for return. Here I will go for 1D. Let me click on bar element, and here I will click on the review button and let us select the bar element. As you can see, if I rotate my model little bit, the Y axis is showing along the Z direction. So now if you virtually place our cross section over here, and if we match the Y axis and the Z axis, then you can see the F point is going to represent our tension, and then it will be able to match our FEA results. But this is not what we wanted. So basically here we have to orient the cross section. So let me go for return. Let me go for bar again. Let us click on the update and then select all the bar element that we need to update. Now to update the orientation, I can go to this drop down, and here I will go for vectors. Instead of vector to be Z axis, I want vector in the positive Y direction. So again instead of Z axis, let me select the Y axis, and then I will go for update. Here I will go for local axis I want to update, and then go for update. Let me again review the bar element so that we will be 100% sure that there is no foul play. So let me click on review. Let me select the bar element, and you can see they have been perfectly oriented. Now let me go for return. Let me save this file as proper orientation. So here only I will create a new folder, paste the same name over here, and then again go for analysis, click on OptiStruct, and again click on OptiStruct. Once the solution is completed, don't click on the result because we want to compare the result. So let me again go to the previous Hyper-V window. Here I will go for split window, then I will split the window into two, select it over here, then go for import. I will click on this open option, let's say upward, and here I want to import this proper orientation file. Make sure that you are importing the H3D file, which is the output file of OptiStruct. Here I am going to say apply, then go for contours, go for displacement, and then go for apply. Again let me go for the stresses. Here I will go for C point stress. Now since we are 100% sure that this C point is going to be on the tension, let me select it. Here I will set it to simple and then go for apply. As you can see, the C point is showing the exact stresses. So again if I click on the point E, then it will show me the negative stresses or the compressive stresses. So as you can see, the minimum value is minus 10185.92. But don't worry, in case of compression you can reverse the legend also. So I can go for legends, go for edit legend, and then click on reverse, and then go for apply and say OK. And then you will be able to select the minimum value at the top, which is the maximum value in case of compression. One thing that I want to show you over here, suppose you want to show the cross section over here also, then you can come to the preference, click on the option, then go for visualization, and under the bar element instead of none I will set it to cylinder. then go for apply and then go for OK. And as you can see, you will be able to see the cross section properly. So in this way basically we can perform the analysis of cantilever beam with the transverse loading. But I kindly request all of you, next time when you practice, you create the different cross section. For example, rectangle, I section, and try to validate your analytical answer with the FEA results. So I hope you have understand and you have enjoyed the session. See you in the next session.